possible collision between he and Kyle Petty. Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
This is Richard Childress, car owner for Dale Earnhardt. That was a terrific pit stop. Got you out in the lead.
Yeah, them guys just done a super job there.
Well, I've been watching you clocking the cars. You knew all along that Dale's car was just as quick as the car of Ricky Rudd when he was leading the race. Just a matter of time till he got up there. Has Dale said anything about the car?
Yeah, we're still just a little bit too tight in a couple of spots on the track, but other than that, he says it's real good.
Okay, he has been moving up steadily. He's going to be a force. Steve Evans?
I'm with Felix Sabatas, Kyle Petty's car owner. You know, race cars you can always replace. Good friends you can, and we understand that he's okay. He's getting checked out, but we understand he's okay.
No, Kyle is fine. He's survived. We're going to have to get the car fixed and send it back out. I just don't understand that stupid idiot in the 71 car. That's not racing. The guy's an idiot, always been an idiot, will continue to be an idiot. And as long as NASCAR let people like him get on the racetrack, you're going to have this kind of problem. He shouldn't be racing.
Okay, other than that, Felix doesn't have an opinion. Mike?
I got an opinion.
Thank you, Steve. 123 laps are complete. Dale Earnhardt leads as Kyle Petty's car is hauled back to the garage. Give you a look at the running right now. Earnhardt, Martin, Shepard, Waltrip, and Marlin. We'll be right back.
Fresh, pure, and natural. The only beer with the genuine taste of the king of beers, Budweiser.
Gillette presents Sensor, the system, the technology that will change the way you shave forever. Sensor, twin blades set on springs to read your face and respond. Independent suspension to sense and adjust to every curve of your face. No other razor comes close. Gillette Sensor, for the best shave a man can get.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no air. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a gain!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
Hey, she's a lot tougher than she looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
These are test tracks for Craftsman tools. It's where we prove Craftsman can take the torture even guys like you dish out. 1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
And isn't it true that this auto part did, in fact, come from the defendant's car?
Objection. Prosecution is leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
This part most definitely came from that car.
And how can you be sure?
I work for Napa Auto Parts. It's my job to be sure.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Napa people are parts experts, so they can answer any question, whatever the case may be.
The Nashville Network's exclusive live coverage of the Budweiser 500 is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. We're under caution and a look at the race leader, Dale Earnhardt, lined up right behind Ken Schrader, right at the tail end of the lead lap there after pit stops. One reason Earnhardt gets out so quickly is the champion has first choice of pit stalls. And you see they're working right at the end of pit road. That's Dale Earnhardt's pit. As Winston Cup champion, he gets first choice of pits. Now, if we can just tilt the camera down a bit, you'll see a line where the NASCAR Winston Cup official is standing there in the middle of pit road. Well, under caution, when the cars come out of the pits, as they cross that line, that's the order they run in. So while other teams have to run all the way down pit road to get to that point for position, all Earnhardt has to do is pop the car into gear, scoot across that line, and that's his spot. Helps him get out first.
There's no doubt that's an edge in it, buddy, but that goes along with the championship.
Yeah, and the other thing that you overlook, you never get a penalty for going out too fast.
So Earnhardt is the leader. Kyle Petty has taken a tremendous wallop in the turn 4 wall, come out of the car unscathed. Made the mandatory trip to the infield care center, where we're being told that he's just being released right now from the doctors here at Dover Downs and the infield care center, and that he is okay. There is his car, having been hauled back to the garage area. And there's Kyle talking to the record drivers. I think he's trying to get that thing positioned so they get some work done on it and get him back in the race.
One of the problems, Mike, that's the Busch cars that are lined up right there. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, we are standing here with Kyle Petty. Kyle's directing the wrecker right now. He's pretty upset about things down here. The wrecker driver, for some reason, pulled the car down here between these other cars. They cannot get to it. So Kyle has taken it upon himself to direct this wrecker driver here. See if I can get a word with him. First of all, Kyle, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
What happened out there?
Well, Dave was pitting, and he waved his hand to pit, so I went to the outside of him. And evidently, while he was waving his hand, he hit something and just skated up the racetrack a little bit. It just hit me in the left rear. Wasn't nothing he could do. Wasn't nothing that could have been done. Just one of those things out there today.
Well, that's mighty gracious coming from a guy who just took a lick like that.
We'll see if they get that car back into the race. We're going racing this time by. Lapped cars are on the inside. You see Schrader, Ricky Rudd, who pitted under green, is a lap down. Alan Kulwicki, Greg Sachs, who pitted under green, is a lap down. And at lap 128, we'll look for the restart green flag.
Boy, and if they've ever had an opportunity to get a lap back, it's right here. They got the leader, Earnhardt, stuck on the outside in that slick groove. These guys on the inside might get that lap back.
They're going to take this restart, leaving Harry Gant on pit road. 3 pit stops and a lot of work on the right front. Gant gets away, but he may get lapped. He will get lapped as the field comes by. Schrader and Earnhardt fighting. Gant will come out behind the field, a lap down, at least 1 lap down. Out of turn 2. And Schrader holds the bottom.
Trying to fight for that position. You don't want to give that lap back to Earnhardt. He'd like to get it away from him.
Earnhardt up in the bear grease, and Schrader and Rudd get by. Here comes Kulwicki. They've got their lap back. Martin takes the lead. And Earnhardt can't get down to the bottom. Boy, paybacks are heck. Earnhardt stormed up through the field, and now they're handing it back to him.
Yeah, there's a bunch of lap cars getting a lap back right there. Not only lap cars, but good cars for the lead.
Now Earnhardt drops in line behind Greg Sachs. Let's have a look at the Napa Field standing update, show you where your favorite driver was running in this event as of 115 laps. As we watch Mark Martin with the lead right now. Single file. Martin the leader, Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd in third, Michael Waltrip, Sterling Marlin. There's Kulwicki and Rudd. They've got a lap back, but that Jack Roush car has been fast all day, and he's running down those 2 guys who snuck out there and got a lap back on him.
Kulwicki's car really seems to come alive now. There's Kulwicki trying to get up under Rudd.
Trying to keep Mark Martin back.
He's got to be careful. That's old number 3 he's in right there. That's the 3rd car of the weekend.
Right. Good battle a little further back. Mike Waltrip there, the yellow car, and Brett Bodine. They're now passing Ken Schrader. It's Earnhardt ahead of them. And Sterling Marlin going past Schrader now. Then Jeff Bodine. And Davey Allison's up in that front pack. Two seconds, first to second, Mark Martin to Dale Earnhardt.
There's Davey Allison. Kenny Schrader must have some kind of problem because at the very start of the race, you see him on the outside of the 21 car there, Morgan Shepherd. He's been falling back tremendously as this thing started. There's the 2 car, Rusty Wallace, getting up under him also. He hasn't been able to get going on the restart.
Rusty is on the lead lap, posted in 9th spot. Dick Trickle right there in 10th. The Snickers car or the Stavola brothers.
I tell you, Schrader, he's a tough character, but he told me, he said last week on Tuesday, if I could have, I'd have had this surgery. So it's bothered him so bad, it's going to be tough if it don't give him trouble today.
That's Strickland going by on the inside, the Revestas car, going past Schrader, that is. As the field sifts itself out here after the 3rd caution flag of the day, occasioned by Kyle Petty's crash at turn 4. 135 laps complete. Here's the way they're running. Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, Michael Waltrip in 3rd. In 4th, Brett Bodine, and in 5th, Sterling Marlin. TNN's coverage at Dover will continue after this.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine.
That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
River Run, Shimmering Bay, Crystal Lake, Aqua Sea, Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be.
If where you want to be is where the action is, hop on a Kawasaki watercraft. Either the Jet Ski Sport Cruiser or the Tandem Sport will give you all the excitement the two of you can handle.
Kawasaki, let the good times roll. Kawasaki.
Racing, I can't explain it. You're kind of in a limbo zone. Time's different, speed's different, everything works different. It sounds totally cosmic. It's out there somewhere.
Kyle Petty and Mellow Yellow. There's nothing mellow about him.
Catch 90 minutes of racing excitement from start to finish on the American Sports Cavalcade. The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN.
Welcome back to Dover Downs and the Budweiser 500. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker topside. Steve Evans, Glenn Jarrett are on pit road today. Watching Mark Martin, who has finished second here 3 times in 11 starts, lead this race. He has not been able to overlap Alan Kulwicki, but what's that, Neil?
I don't know. It's just as you was talking there, Mike, you look down and his flames just rolling out of the car. Mark Martin leading the race. He's either got a busted header or something as he went down. We'll watch him as he goes back around this time. As he went in the first turn, there's a lot of fire coming out of the exhaust pipes on his car.
Get another look at it here in a minute. Watching a battle between Mike Waltrip and Brett Bodine behind second place Dale Earnhardt. And Davey Allison right in the picture along with Morgan Shepherd in the Citgo car. 143 laps down. There's a look at Waltrip in third. There's a little bit of tire mark on just about everybody today.
Yeah, and it's from just pinching that thing to the inside. If you do get caught outside somebody, you just hold them as low as possible.
You know, they got I don't believe that Michael's running second. I think
third place, excuse me. Yeah. Earnhardt is second. Waltrip 3.5 seconds behind the leader.
Sorry about that. You're never wrong. You know?
Oh, I'm wrong a lot. The only thing I'm right about is having you two guys beside me.
You know, it's kind of hard to tell who's got a real good race car here because the positioning is dictating how they show on the racetrack. You know, if they get in a good place on traffic, they stay there. It's hard for them to pass anybody, move up.
Oh, trouble. Garrett Cope and Wally Dallenbach slam hard into the inside of the front straightaway wall. I heard a tire let go. I'm not sure if it was before or after the impact.
I'm like you. I kind of went blind when they hit the inside wall there. I'm telling you, they really collected that thing.
You know, the cars look so smooth racing here at speed, you completely lose the sensation of the 160 miles an hour they're coming down the front straightaway.
One thing not to overlook while they're sitting there, action, Ricky Rudd and Kulwicki are getting a lap back on this. They beat them back to the line, so they'll get a lap back while these other guys are having problems.
Derek Cope, the 1990 winner here. Wally Dallenbach, the Trans Am champ. Safety crews quickly on the scene.
Neil, I don't think I've ever seen a car hit any harder on the inside than Derek Cope did, except you up here in the Wood Brothers car.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to forget that one, buddy. But I mean, he really came down to the inside and swatted that thing.
Taking Dallenbach with him.
They're going to need a canoe to get him out the way it looks. That's a big puddle there and down there.
Second devastating crash of the day. The first was Kyle Petty's at turn 4 on lap 121. Petty unhurt and away from the Dallenbach car that he is okay. Dallenbach's first start here for Jack Roush, and there's leader Mark Martin going to pit lane. Most everyone took this opportunity to stop. Glenn Jarrett.
As Mark Martin brings the Valvoline Ford to a stop here in pit lane, they're going to have a 4-tire change. But these guys have got a little bit of a problem. They're putting scuffed tires on that car. Normally they come in and bolt 4 brand new ones that have never been on the racetrack. The problem with Steve Mill said with the car, and the Jackman falls coming around, he's okay though. But Steve Mill told me that they were tearing up the new tires, the sticker tires, when they put them on there. So that's something they're really going to have to keep an eye on. The car was a little bit tight. Boy, they almost collided coming out of pit road. He said the car was a little bit tight. They took some wedge out of it last time, but evidently it wasn't enough to keep from tearing up those new tires.
Boy, a tire, while you're talking there, Glenn, a tire was hit on pit road, flew over and hit some of Junior Johnson's crew. It looked like it knocked a couple of guys down. Hopefully they're not hurt.
Now that water on the end of pit lane was the big splash from those 2 cars coming to the inside wall. We'll show you some replays here and update you on the drivers as quickly as we can.
I thought I saw Derek Cope get out. Here you go, buddy. Here they're coming off forward. Dallenbach.
Dallenbach running in the wall. Look at this impact. Oh, man.
Dallenbach hit the wall. There's nowhere to go, and Cope hit him and just turned him straight in the inside wall. It's not over yet. They're fixing to come in here again pretty hard.
A hard shot.
That cameraman's got my vote. He stood there and took that picture. I'd have been somewhere in the middle of the infield.
There you see Dallenbach really glance off the wall. When he did, it just turned Cope directly into the inside. And folks, that thing's not going to slow down. If it was running 150 off the wall, he's running 150 when he hit the wall. And they hit again further on down the racetrack. I'm trying to see where that camera was at. It must be on pit wall, because I mean they were all over the top of it, spinning around, headed back down in the grass. And there's a camera sitting right on the wall, about to take it off.
And it's remote controlled. More on that in a second. Glenn Jarrett.
They have just taken Derek Cope into the care center. Wally Dallenbach is walking up right now. They're taking both drivers in. They walk in under their own power. They look a little bit shaken. Both of them were extremely wet from that bath they got down there. They hit a tremendous puddle of water there. So they're okay. We'll try to get a word with them to see what happened whenever they get back out of the care center.
A look at the remains of Derek Cope's race car and that of Wally Dallenbach. We are under caution for the 4th time today. Here's the way they're running. Alan Kulwicki did not pit. He's the leader. We'll be right back.
When Darrell Waltrip needs tires, he needs the right tires. He needs them fast.
And when you need tires, see the tire team at Western Auto. We've got major brands and over 26 tire lines to fit your car, van, or light truck. Right, Junior?
Right, DW.
And we got the right price, backed by our free ride guarantee. Right, Rusty?
Right, DW. When you buy tires from Western Auto, try them for 30 days or 1,000 miles. If you're not satisfied, they'll exchange them.
That's why I take our car to Western Auto. Right, Dad?
Wrong, DW.
Stevie takes your car to Western Auto.
Quote, Dodge Dakota Sport with a new optional 180 horsepower Magnum V6 out-accelerates Ford Ranger and Chevy S10 and does it for under 10 grand. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere.
Get $750 cash back on Dakota during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge.
So our lab guys wanted me to explain the advanced formula in new Rain Dance car polish. I told them, hey, forget that. Just show how easy it is to wipe off. They said no. They'd rather show how new Rain Dance lasts longer than those once-a-year polishes. Something about this special ingredient makes water beat up better longer. I said, nah, show the car. They said no, maybe the bottle. I said car. They said bottle. New Rain Dance. Hey, you can't argue with science. You'll find advanced formula Rain Dance at these fine stores.
Take all these things you bought to show me that you care. Or maybe you can trade them in with love somewhere.
She's on the hip side of country. Kelly Willis stars on the Texas Connection. Saturday on TNN.
Classic Motor Carriages presents the Classic Cobra, a remake of the 60s ultimate muscle car. History on the track, performance on the street, the most complete, easiest to build kit on the market, an innovative one-piece body finished in your choice of high-luster gel coat colors. The Classic Cobra, with the performance and muscle of the original. Call 1-800-CLASSIC for more information on the special offering of the Classic Cobra from Classic Motor Carriages. Call now, 1-800-CLASSIC.
Next Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. When a seasoned pro like Mike Eddy meets the challenge of a newcomer like John Benson Jr., you get a battle of intense proportion. While the fight was clean, it still ended in the spin cycle. Mike Eddy headed to the showers and a young lion roared to victory lane. That was Milwaukee. Now on to Ontario. It's the 25th anniversary of the ASA AC Delco Challenge Series. Players limited 200 next Sunday, 1 Eastern, live on TNN Motorsports.
Dale Earnhardt is the leader right now as Alan Kulwicki has made a pit stop late in this caution period. Occasion with Wally Dallenbach and Derek Cope slammed the front stretch wall. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Derek Cope, that was a wild ride down the front stretch. What happened out there?
Well, you know, we had got a loose set of tires. The car was backing up a little bit. And it started to come back on me, and Wally looked like the car got a little bit tight, pushed up on the corner there, and he started going right onto the wall. And I tried to turn the car left to get out of the way, and he just come back into me. And we didn't have any place for the fuel letter filter Chevrolet to go.
I've seen a lot of wrecks at a lot of places, but both the left front and the right front tire were driven way back up against the firewall on the car. Must have been a tremendous impact.
It was a pretty good hit, about the hardest one I've taken in a while. You know, I just kind of saw it all come. I knew it was going to be a hard one, so I just kind of like hunched down and took it. And fortunately, everything collapsed. The crew did a great job. I have to give them a lot of credit. They worked on this front steering and stuff, trying to make it collapse. They did his job, didn't hurt me, and I got to give them guys a great tribute.
Well, you heard him say it didn't hurt him. He walked in under his own power. Fortunately, he's okay.
The 1990 winner of this race is out of it. You see the safety crews working. They have called for a welder. This wall is not concrete. It is heavy steel, as was used at Pocono, and they're going to have to make some repairs to it before we go back to green.
You know, you heard him say something really key just then. The steering collapsed. They used to weld that thing, and it would push the steering wheel back into your chest and collapse your chest. Now this all collapsed down in the steering column itself, and it didn't hurt him.
Good point, buddy. Here's a thing where racing has learned something from production cars, the collapsible steering column. Here's the shot Buddy talked about. The cameraman is Peter Larson of Broadcast Sports Technology. That camera is mounted on the pit wall. Slam goes Cope and Dallenbach, and they're not done. Look at the damage to the front end of Cope's car as it comes sliding along and will come to rest right at that camera. There's the shot. Now, let me give you the good news. Wham! Well, the bad news is the water flying has taken out the camera. As for Peter, Peter is fine. He is safely ensconced in a trailer behind the grandstand where he controls this camera and our in-car cameras from a video game type joystick. But nice work, Peter. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, this is Wally Dallenbach. Wally, a rude welcome to Dover Downs. This was your first race here. That looked pretty scary out there.
Yeah, that was quite a hit. We were fighting a pretty bad understeer all day, and that last time coming out of 4, it just took off for the wall, and I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm sorry that Derek had to get caught up in that, but it was quite a hit.
Right at the end of the crash there, you had to add insult to injury. There was a huge puddle of water down there. It looked like it sprayed everything near it.
Yeah, the track is pretty slippery outside of the bottom groove, and I mean, there's a couple times you get up on that top groove, and you just got to let the guys underneath you go because there's just no traction up there. So it's real slippery out there, and then when you hit the grass with about a foot of water in it, you just pick up speed. So it's a mess.
Okay, fortunately, Wally is okay also. He'll be back here another time.
And our shot is back. There's our speed shot from the wall. Another angle at this from the front stretch wall. And a look at the Jack Roush crew working on Wally Dallenbach's car. And there's our camera getting repaired. Our cameraman is fine. The camera, though, took a bit of a hit.
I thought that was Suicide Hayes holding that thing if he didn't run when those cars started at him.
I know why he's so brave now, bud. He's in a truck behind the grandstand.
Remote control. Great shots, though. Tough wreck. We're under caution for the 4th time today. Wally Dallenbach and Derek Cope, they are repairing the wall. There's Gary Nelson of NASCAR overseeing repairs as you look at the top 5 after 154 laps. We'll be right back.
And there's the checkered flag. When the race is over, the scene begins. The Winston Cup scene. It's the largest and most informative NASCAR Winston Cup newspaper in the country. The pages of the Winston Cup scene are loaded with up-to-date information, insightful editorials and commentary, expanded coverage of each race, entertaining feature articles, the latest news, terrific photography, complete statistics, and even the gossip.
45 great issues, only $40. Call 1-800-800-1865 or send check or money order to P.O. Box 500, Concord, North Carolina, 28026.
Hey, Bill, checking out the scene? How'd I do?
Well, let's see. Petty. Richard Petty?
Why don't you take over? I'm into the scene. Why don't you get into the scene, too?
For the best in motorsports reading, it's Winston Cup Scene. Call 1-800-800-1865. MasterCard, Visa accepted.
Behold the passion and pageantry of the noble warrior within. Armed with a Snapper recycling mulcher mower with its 2x2 split level blade. 2 blades for the way up, 2 blades for the way down. Their Ninja 2x2 blade cuts every blade of grass who knows how many times. It's also handy that I don't have to take the time to bag. Looks like I did. Snapper. Anything less just won't mulch it. Now pay nothing down and no payments until October.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of AC Delco. We don't just race, we win.
TNN's coverage of the Budweiser 500 is being brought to you by the folks at AC Delco. It's like buying time. Here's the way they're running. The top 5, Earnhardt, Labonte, Martin, Allison, and Brett Bodine. Marlin, Michael Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Bodine, and Morgan Shepherd. Repairs to the wall continue. We get a chance to look at some of our 800 phone line questions. John from California knows that Ernie Irvin's from Modesto. How does he fix his cars when he's out of town when his shop's in California? Well, John, it's not. It's in Abingdon, Virginia, where his team owners, the Morgan McClure team, is located. So Ernie gets to travel, doesn't have to worry about maintaining those cars. Somebody else does. There's Bobby Allison out there having a look with Gary Nelson at the wall.
Yeah, Bobby's pit is right. Hud Strickland's pit is right behind there. I think Bobby wants to make sure they get it fixed pretty well so they don't come driving into their pit the next time. Gary's real good at construction on fabricating cars and all, and he's going to oversee how they fix this thing. And Bobby's out there putting his 2 cents worth in. Look.
Gillette Halfway Challenge. If you want to enter next week's contest, it's box 1868 in South Hackensack, New Jersey, 07606. After halfway at this point, one of you who mailed in to enter this week's challenge will get a phone call and a chance to win a Chevy Lumina from the folks at Right Guard and the Sensor Shaving System in Gillette. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, you're looking at 2 of Dale Earnhardt's crew doing a little cleanup work here. You see all that water out there? That wasn't here before Derek Coate and Wally Dollenbach had that crash. Right out on the other side of pit walls where they stopped, a tremendous spray of water came over pit wall and did all this. Very slick getting in and out down here. Earnhardt's pit, as we mentioned, is the last pit down on pit road. Being the Winston Cup champion makes a lot of difference because you get that first pit stop. He has been able to beat Mark Martin out both times simply because he didn't have to pull out and around anybody. He could pull right straight out. It was not a problem for him getting out first, so that might be a factor all day long.
I think that's Bobby Moody there with the blower, and it's John Hester helping out there. There are cars out of the race. Graham Taylor, Jerry O'Neill, D.K. Ulrich, James Hilton, Kyle Petty. They've stopped making efforts to repair his car, and now Derek Cope, Wally Dollenbach.
Is the Earnhardt crew ready or what? How many teams have their own leaf blower?
Not too many, I'll wager. Yeah, they're ready. I wonder if that's a good wrench leaf blower or what. Why don't the Winston Cup teams use 5-speed transmissions? Rusty from Texas wants to know.
Well, the rule book says you use a 4-speed transmission, 4-speed manual, and that's what you go with. You don't add that 5th gear to it.
That's all the reason you need. What kind of spring rates would you run here? Dave from Colorado asks.
Oh, me. That's a driver's preference. Each driver likes the car set up differently. I would say like a 350 in the rear, both sides, and like a 1900 in the right front, and about a 1500 in the left front.
Hope you were taking notes at home on that so that when you run Dover, Delaware, you'll have the right springs. Here's Darrell Waltrip at 158 laps. We'll take this pause. We asked Darrell, what's it about being an owner-driver that agrees with you?
I want to be around in this business a long time. I don't want to just kind of take my helmet and go home and be done with it. I want to stick around for a long time. So I really want to have a first world-class operation set up and going good and strong so that when Darrell Waltrip gets ready to get out of that race car, that he can go get any driver in the garage area and they'll want to drive that car.
The other day I get in my car, it won't start. No small problem, right? Well, I figure it's the battery, so I go down to the AutoZone and I tell him what I need. The guy says to me, let's check your old one first. It might not be the problem. Turns out he was right. All I needed was a new battery cable. Talk about saving money. Now you tell me, would another parts store done that? They made sure I got exactly what I needed. Now I'll remember that. Believe me, I will.
Al Unser Jr. knows the corkscrew at Laguna Seca with his eyes closed. Fortunate, considering it's a blind turn. Mark Martin knows if he lets someone cross his wake at 200 miles per hour, his car may be doing the lambada. And Joe Amato knows that at 296 miles per hour, he must pull his chute at precisely the right moment to keep from becoming an astronaut. Apparently, it is what you know.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back. Get the guaranteed Splitfire advantage at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
The legendary Chieftains do an Irish jig with Chet Atkins, Ricky Skaggs, and Nancy Griffin.
What makes the love grow?
Traveling through the jungles on the Wabash Cannonball. All right, boys, play it.
The American Music Shop, Saturday night at 10 Eastern on TNN.
They're welding on the wall here at Dover Downs. That's Gary Nelson holding Bobby Allison's torch. There's Bobby with a set of wrenches and Mel Joseph, the Speedway chairman of the board. And it looks like they may pull on that one, try to straighten it up just a bit. There's some of Ted Musgrave's crew helping out. 160 laps complete, many of them under caution here. First for the rain. 2 devastating crashes, one for Kyle Petty and this one for Wally Dallenbach and Derek Cope. And, Buddy Baker's got a question from our 800 number.
Oh, they wanted to know what helmet Dale Jarrett's wearing, you know, representing the NFL this week, and it's the Denver Broncos.
How'd you know that?
Well, I seen it on his head yesterday.
Okay. He wears a different team helmet every race along the Winston Cup circuit.
They said they thought it'd be appropriate here, a Bronco, like Bruck and a Bronco riding it here at this racetrack, so they brought it here.
This is the place. There's Alan Kulwicki, who led a lap here, and I'm sure that sounded a little strange. It did to us here, too. But on the caution flag, Alan was ahead of leader Mark Martin, made up his lap. Then the entire field of cars that were running on the lead lap pitted. That left Kulwicki with the lead for a lap or two. Steve?
This is Paul Andrews, crew chief for Alan Kulwicki. You know, you actually led a lap with a car you hauled it for Charlotte, never even practiced with.
We did that on purpose. You know, we were just got our lap back, so we went in and stayed out there, led a lap, got that extra 5 points, and we were going to do pretty much a major chassis adjustment on the stop. So we knew we'd end up in the back anyway, so there's really no reason not to.
Considering the disaster of a weekend, anything good you'll take.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know, we're looking optimistic. You know, we're looking for a top 5 here, and we'll see what else happens. This chassis change ought to help out a lot. You know, we should be good the rest of the race.
All right, look for that car to come in, as he said, for a chassis change.
Alan Kulwicki's team hard at work there. He's 4th in the point standings, just 132 points out of 1st. That was from Friday in practice, one of 2 crashes for Alan Kulwicki, and 2 cars, we're told, destroyed, beyond repair here at the racetrack.
You know, Alan's very statement after this wreck right here is, hey, I spun out on the straightaway. The other one was in the corner. When they first got here, they couldn't even use full throttle on the straightaway without spinning out.
So Kulwicki is on the lead lap. Tail end of the lead lap since he made a late pit stop. He is 19th. There is Earnhardt, who has picked up the lead. Terry Labonte in 2nd in the Sunoco car. 3rd is Mark Martin in the Valvoline Ford, and 4th Davey Allison.
I would like to say something. Earnhardt cuts up with those guys. He didn't mean those guys were old at all. You see where he's at after every pit stop?
Look at him and Elmo going at it.
Oh,
here.
yeah, bang.
Pretty good. I don't think he wants Elmo to get those bonus points.
Look at him told him to get back behind him there.
Just having a little fun on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we do have a backup pace car. It looks like we might need it.
Yep. We scraped this one up enough. Look at Michael Waltrip. He's running in 8th place right now. We asked Mike if what he could do in Dover to help resolve the missing ingredient in his program.
I won my first Winston Cup pole position here a year ago with TNN on board, and you know, a lot of good things have happened here. Hopefully this weekend we're going to get this bus heading in another direction, and we'll be in good shape before the year's out.
This is the time to use Ace Paint. Hey, Ace knows what it takes to make great paint because Ace makes its own. Ace Paint, top quality in every drop, guaranteed.
Right now, Ace waterproofing sealant is just $6.49 a gallon.
Another reason Ace is the place for you.
Today, performance cars come in a variety of designs, sizes, and even prices. So do Goodyear Eagles, the world's most successful line of performance tires. There are all-season Goodyear Eagles, new ultra-performance Goodyear Eagles. There are Goodyear Eagles for the classic and for the contemporary. No matter what performance car you own, there's a Goodyear Eagle priced for you. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Here we go again, guys. Wow, I feel good. Yeah, this guy really gets around. He's got the auto lights. American Orient, we're guaranteed. I feel good. Yeah, 2 years, no matter how far he goes. That's why we've been everywhere. Vegas. I feel good. Yeah. Daytona. LA. Wherever we're going. The Super yeah. And we're not even tired.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Budweiser 500 is being brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Well, I've got the welder truck working along there. The welder works fine, but looks like the record's going to have to give it an assist to get it down the pit lane. And we're 164 laps into this race. They need to make repairs to that wall, so in case there is another impact, it's in place and will hold. Robert Yates is out there along with Bobby Allison and some other folks helping out. Dale Earnhardt has led 20 of these 164 laps, 19 cars on the lead lap, 7 lead changes among 5 drivers. The average speed, 93. 4 cautions for 62 laps. Here are the drivers that have led this race. There are 5 of them. Alan Kulwicki, the most recent one, leading a couple of laps here under the caution after getting back on the lead lap. And there behind the safety car, Dale Earnhardt's been having a little fun with Elmo Langley. I know the question, I'm looking to see who called it in. But somebody called in and said, can you give us more than the top 10 drivers in the point standings? Dennis from Ohio. So Dennis, there's the front 5, Allison, Elliott, Gant, Kulwicki, Earnhardt. There's the rest of the top 10, back through Mark Martin in 10th place. Ricky Rudd's 11th, back through Ernie Irvin in 15th. And 16th through 20th with Ted Musgrave in there. Derek Cope won't pick up a lot of points today. There's Kenny Schrader, Hut Strickland, Rick Mast. The Waltrips off to a slow start here, and Wally Dollebeck. So hope your favorite driver was in amongst those top 25 there. Alan Kulwicki just pitted to clean the windshield and the grill to make a stop. Who's the oldest Winston Cup driver? That was one of our questions. Isabel from Connecticut called in. Hazard a guess?
I know. not fair for me to guess, though.
Okay.
I heard you say it a while ago. A.J. Foyt.
A.J. is 57 years old.
No, I'm wrong.
Nope. Well, now Red Farmer's 62, but hasn't been running Winston Cup. Herschel McGriff.
Oh.
60 years old. I believe Herschel will be in the running next week out at Sears Point.
Yes, he's going to run the race on Saturday and Sunday in the Winston Cup race. It seems like Herschel just runs more and more as it goes along.
His daughter, Debbie Bound, working with us today as one of the pit producers down along pit road. There's Dale Earnhardt, who has the lead here. Last week's winner in Charlotte. And here is Mark Martin. Mark Martin running in the third spot now. Terry Labonte splitting those two leaders. Let's go down to Mark's pit, Glenn Jarrett.
Steve Mill, you told me a while ago that the reason you put on the scuffed tires were you're having a little blistering problem. Is that because of the green surface on the racetrack, or is there a problem with the car?
No, race car is good, and we haven't had any tire trouble at all. Typically, we run scuffed tires here at Dover because we have had trouble in the past. Right now, all our tires look good, and we're considering putting on stickers on the next stop. A lot of people around us are trying them, and they seem okay, so we're just a little extra cautious because we can run real good right now without overextending ourselves. We think we're in pretty good shape. We don't want to mess up.
Well, it has to be a little frustrating to have a race car as fast as it is, but the way the pits are jammed up here, both times you've come in and had pretty good pit stops, yet came out second or third in the grid.
Well, this is a good racetrack for racing. If you got a better car, you can pass. So I told my guys, just don't worry about it. If you come off pit road a little bit behind, the car seems good enough we can pass. We got a long ways to go yet, so we think we're in real good shape. We're not worrying a whole lot about what happens in here.
Well, that's pretty much confidence when they can get him out anywhere they want, know it can go to the front.
Well, as the guys were saying here in the booth, you see that way that car handles down the straightaway, you don't have a whole lot to worry about. But Earnhardt will give him a run. And let's give a call to Terry Labonte. Labonte is right there in second place. And was kind of unheralded. Got caught there in the pits. Got a lap back. Labonte's never won here in 26 starts. Best finished second in 1984. Has 10 Winston Cup wins. Steve?
Well, you know, if any team's strategy involves trying to be in front at the halfway mark for more than the $10,000, in case it rains, remember if they go one lap past halfway and it rains, it's over. Take a look here. Dover is just about in this area here. All of this moisture is off the coast. It is pushed through here, some minor little cells, none of which would bring any significant moisture. So, guys, the best news of the weekend, it looks clean for the rest of the day.
Thanks, Steve. Welding continuing on pit road, and the average speed in this race is rapidly approaching the speed limit. 90 miles an hour we're down to with these caution laps.
It's very seldom you see us have to be down this long on a caution, but this is one of the few tracks that you're seeing all the tracks cut out the boilerplate and going to concrete walls everywhere. And every track we go to is doing away with the boilerplate, and I'm sure, buddy, down the road that they'll eventually put concrete walls here. And it's not something against the track. It's just a matter. It takes a while to get it worked in their system.
I will tell you this, though. That wall given like that may have saved Derek Cope a lot of really hurting himself a lot worse than he was.
Yeah, it's nice to have something to give other than your body when you hit those walls. It's nice to see something collapse, but boy, I'll tell you what, he really wrapped the deal.
We'll report that NASCAR has asked the Earnhardt crew to request that their drivers stay behind the pace cars. That's what he's doing. Roger from Illinois calls in, says, if Richard Petty won 2 or 3 races this year, you think it would encourage him to drive for another season, or is this it?
No, I'm sure that Richard made up his mind. That's what he's going to do. And this is his farewell tour, and everybody loves Richard Petty. And I, for one, want him to quit on top like he is with the fans.
I'm with you. Glenn?
Well, as if you don't have enough problems out there, your race drivers are cut up today. NASCAR has told him to lay off of the pace car.
Yeah, you know, I told him to pick the pace up a little bit. Pace car took off a little bit, so he just wasn't going as fast as they all wanted to go there one time.
Well, obviously, right now, the car seems to be working pretty well, though. Mark Martin seems to be about the only car can do anything with him.
Well, we've been turning some good laps. You know, Red's still running real well. He's just a lap or so down, but he's still a long way to go. Now, Davey, he's up there, so it'll get pretty tough.
You said the car was a little bit tight a while ago on that last restart when Dale fell back a little bit. Have you tried to correct that?
No, we've worked with it just one time, but we're kind of see what the track does with the weather, too.
Okay, he's got to go keep an eye on his driver right now, keep him out of mischief.
Keep him out of the back of the pace car. Earnhardt's trying to lead a couple of laps here, but Elmo's holding him off. Go Elmo. Fan called in about that pace car, and by the way, it's a stock Pontiac Grand Prix GTP. They don't modify them in any way. just the light bar on the top. It shows how far passenger car technology has come. But they can run that car just the way it comes from the factory at the 85-mile-an-hour speeds they were running in these first 25 laps. 172 laps complete. A look at Davey Allison, who runs here in 4th place. He's had such success this season. We asked him what would he do to beat Davey Allison.
You think I'm going to tell my secrets? No, I don't know. You know, we don't have anything tricked. We don't have anything that's, you know, out of the ordinary. It's just a bunch of guys that are working hard, and things have been going our way this year up to this point. And I guess I'd look at it the same way I've looked at some other people. You know, we just got to go there and do our best job every week and keep learning as we go.
Hello there, I'm Lori Ann Crook.
I'm Charlie Chase. This week on Crook and Chase, Aaron Tippin is here live.
Lori Morgan has a special song on her mind, and Dolly Parton talks about married life.
It's all this week.
Crook and Chase, a full hour live weeknights on TNN. This is America. A grand land of wonderful places. And some wonderful folks. It's freedom to grow and to visit anywhere we wish, from the heartland to the great shores. And all this year, TNN, the Nashville network, will explore America. Its cities, its neighborhoods, its parks, and its people. It's a memorable journey. All this year, when TNN explores America.
Back at Dover Downs, Dale Earnhardt leading Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, Davey Allison, and Brett Bodine. That's the way the top 5 goes. We're still under caution as they are still working on the inside front straightaway wall. After Derek Cope nearly knocked it down. There's the rest of the top 15 as we're rolling along here. All these cars are on the lead lap back to Alan Kulwicki. Greg Sachs is 1 lap down. And the cars from there on back are a lap in arrears. See how far back that boilerplate wall was pushed from the impact from Derek Cope's car. And that impact brings up a question from Texas on why they don't put airbags in these race cars. I mean, that's the big thing on the street now, airbags and anti-lock brakes, but we don't have them.
I don't know why either. It's a good idea. I just don't really know.
I'm not so sure that you wouldn't take a lick on a racetrack that wouldn't put you out of the race but would open the airbag. You know, real hard concussion real quick on take a shot on the track and open the airbag, you could be in a bind. But
yeah, and I think Kyle Petty did just that. If an airbag had gone off when he hit the wall in turn 4, he wouldn't have been able to steer that thing and try to at least scruff off some speed before he got to the wall down here toward turn 1. Nobody?
I don't know about that. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. When you hit that outside wall, you're a passenger from then on.
Well, airbags, maybe. Terry Labonte running here in 2nd place, having a great run here at Dover today after getting a reprieve from going a lap down under that first caution when the pace car picked up its speed. Glenn Jarrett?
This is Dewey Livingood, the crew chief for Terry Labonte. Dewey, first of all, the car looks like it's really working great out there.
Yeah, we just made another pretty big change on the stop for this last one. He said it helped the car, and we just tried to stay out on his stop and just get gas instead of changing tires because traffic's so hard to pass here, so we tried to get ourselves back up front.
Well, you guys got a little bit of a break early on there when they picked up the pace on the pace car when you were in here and lost that lap, but fortunately NASCAR gave that back to you. Right,
yeah, we really appreciate that. They worked with us on that. That'd have been a tough break right there, but it was so wet down there, Terry had to go above that blend line, so they brought us back in, but they worked with us. We really appreciate it.
Well, all year long, you guys have been one of the most consistent cars out there. What has made the difference in this team this year?
Well, we just got a lot of good guys working good together. You know, everybody's doing their job and working good, and Terry's doing a heck of a job driving, and he's been real consistent. It's just been a good year.
Well, guys, Terry Labonte is a quiet man. Dewey Livingood is the same. They go about their business, and they've been doing a darn good job of it this year.
Kind of snuck up on 2nd place there where they're running right now and running well. A couple of questions about the first race here at Dover. Robert from Georgia, also a question from Debbie of California. The first race here was July 6, 1969. Craig Fielden tells us from his 4-volume set, The History of Stock Car Racing. Richard Petty won it. The only year Petty won or ran a Ford. He won 9 races in a Ford in 1969. This was one of them. Steve writes or calls in about what is the most frequent winning starting spot at Dover. 3rd place. 10 races have been won here from 3rd starting spot. That's where Mike Waltrip started today. Steve Evans.
Guys, believe it or not, this is where Derek Cope was pitted. Before that car completed its crash down there, his guys were loading up their stuff. The tool caddy is gone, the tires are gone, the fuel cans, the jacks, everything is gone. Same thing with Kyle Petty. He was still smoking the tires in his crash when his crew was loading up. There's a couple of reasons for that. They never do hang around very long. But let's remember, all of these teams have to be on the West Coast by probably Thursday morning. If Bonnie and Clyde could have made getaways like this, they might still be out there roaming the country. They'd be in their 90s, but they'd still be out there.
Well, the tough thing for teams like Kyle Petty and Derek Cope is they can't get out of the garage area, as there is no tunnel here at this racetrack. They'll have to wait until after this race is over to make their exit in the mad dash back to Charlotte or to the West Coast. Bill from Connecticut wanted to know how many Fords in the field today. 14 Fords. Now, what a flip-flop. Neil and Buddy, 2 years ago, most of the field were GM cars. GM made some changes and cutbacks. Buick's out. Oldsmobile is gone from Winston Cup racing at the end of this season. And look at how the field is flip-flopped. This race started 14 Fords, 12 Chevrolets, 8 Pontiacs, 5 Oldsmobiles, and 1 Buick.
I tell you, when you start winning, people start tacking that sheet metal on.
Well, I tell you, not only that, too, it hadn't been a few years back, there wasn't any parts available. You heard Jack Roush mention earlier that they're not going to get themselves in that position again where there's not any pieces available for teams. You couldn't have but a certain number of teams because there wasn't enough blocks and heads to go around. Now that stuff is readily available.
Davey Allison on pit road as the welding work has been completed on the wall. Ted Musgrave, Mike Waltrip is in. Dick Trickle, Hut Strickland, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Bodine, Ernie Urban, all making pit stops. So is Kenny Schrader, Richard Petty, Harry Gant, Alan Kulwicki, and Ricky Rudd. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, this is Gary Nelson, NASCAR's man in the know. Gary, you kind of took things in your own hands out there to take care of that problem on the wall. Is everything okay now?
Yeah, the wall's strong. Took a little bit of welding and some bolts to get it back. It got hit pretty hard, but it's safe now. Well,
there was nobody else obviously out there as qualified as you to do that, though. You just took things in your own hands.
Well, there's a welder here. We just couldn't find him, and he happened to have the keys for the truck too. So we're still looking for him.
Things don't always run smoothly.
There is the impact that brought about this long caution. Derek Cope and Wally Dallenbach are okay. Both were checked out at the infield care center and released, as was Kyle Petty from his accident at lap 121. There's Kyle. I guess they finally found a place to park that car, but it has been retired from the event. They've not been able to get it back together. 181 laps complete. We're under caution, but we're just a few laps to go before we get back to green. How do you become a Winston Cup official, and do they have other jobs during the week? Tom from Pennsylvania wants to know.
A lot of the guys that work on the things do work on the weekends, and they travel. Doyle Ford, for example, lives in Nashville, Tennessee. The flagman, he travels back and forth a lot. A lot of the guys travel the circuit, and just really a lot of them are retired that work on the NASCAR full-time, but it's just a mixture of part-time and full-time help.
And how do you get to be one? Well, many of the fellows move up from the NASCAR Winston Racing Series at the short tracks to, say, the Busch Grand National Series or the Modified Tour, and they get to work a few Winston Cup races like Daytona, and if they work out, then they hook on full-time for the 30 events. Elman from Ohio wants to know if there's a designated crew member to pick up tires that are being changed on pit road, because we've seen a couple of tires kicked out into the lane.
They have a man to do that, just like they have a man on the catch can. I mean, that's very important.
Definitely there is. Sometimes he can't get there in time to grab that one tire before the team pulls out, and you don't want to be running out there looking for tires when other cars are trying to pull out.
Right.
Here's the Napa update. Let you know where your favorite driver is running. Brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
There's one lap to go. It's been a long caution, but they're going to turn them loose now. This is almost like a complete restart at the first of the race. They ran around so slow, it's going to be like a total restart. We're going to see what happens on the scramble here.
Green flag next time by. All these cars are on the lead lap. The last of those should be Alan Kulwicki in 19th place. Then cars one lap down.
You know, we were talking about the inspectors. That is the toughest job I guess anybody could have. These guys have to love racing to be in that position, to have to tell a good friend that he can't run something, but they're good with everybody. They give them fair breaks.
Getting ready to go green. Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, Brett Bodine.
Here's Sachs down on the inside. He was one of the fastest cars at the first of the race. Here's an opportunity for him to get a lap back on the inside. Earnhardt beat him off the start.
I think he might have been afraid of jumping to start. He got out ahead of Dale and then had to backpedal to the throttle, and Earnhardt was gone. Green flag. Sachs and Labonte going at it. Labonte in second place. Mark Martin had a look under Dale Jarrett there. Earnhardt has turned in his key. He has paid his bill, signed the credit card receipt, and checked out. And here's a good look at why. Look at the battle back behind him.
Mark Martin caught on the outside, right exactly where he doesn't need to be. Caught out there and can't get going. Look at everybody dive to that inside. Looks like a bunch of fighter planes headed for the bottom. No one wants another guy to get under because it moves out and everybody goes by.
Well, look at Mark Martin, though. He's trying to make that outside groove work now as they're 3 wide down the front straightaway for a moment. Harry Gant on the inside. And Bobby Hamilton wisely eases out of the throttle there.
I tell you what, this is getting where the outside groove is working a lot better in the first part of the race. And I tell you what, we're going to see some side-by-side racing here in the next 15, 20 laps.
Labonte has Brett Bodine now, right on his bumper for second place.
Mike, here's something interesting. Sachs, we were talking earlier, he had one of the fastest cars on the track. He's ran Earnhardt down from way back, and here's an opportunity for him to get that lap back.
81 laps of caution so far. The record 103 laps of yellow in 1975.
Dale, look at this 41 car come up off the corner. You talk about something strong.
I think Barnes builds the motors. I was seeing the thing where they said Barnes built the motors. I think he's always that style engines.
Second place battle. Brett Bodine and Sterling Marlin trying to run down Terry Labonte here. Sachs has his lap back. Earnhardt dropped in right behind him. There they are. Looked like Dale almost let him go.
Well, he probably didn't want to get that side-by-side race and get hung out there and the leaders running back down. He saw that Sachs ran him down from 10 car lengths back. He might as well let him go.
Good spotter to help you with that, won't he?
Yeah, that's when you really need him to just not do something foolish. You know, go ahead and let him have the spot back. No reason to battle him and lose a lot of ground.
So Earnhardt leads it. Greg Sachs is back on the lead lap with one of the fastest cars here. We're watching this race for second place. Brett Bodine, Sterling Marlin, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, all in that battle. There they are, the front five at 189 laps. We'll be right back.
This is the time to use Ace Paint. Hey, Ace knows what it takes to make great paint because Ace makes its own. Ace Paint, top quality in every drop, guaranteed.
Right now, Ace waterproofing sealant is just $6.49 a gallon.
Another reason Ace is the place for you.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All Protectant.
John, how you doing? You know AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts, and also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion, and you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
The intelligent engineering that powered this Oldsmobile to a world record 257 miles per hour now moves a new Oldsmobile to over 30 highway miles per gallon. Introducing Achieva by Oldsmobile. Never has so much thought gone into this much fun. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
This season, Bill Elliott's doing something he's never done before. He's driving the 670 horsepower Budweiser Thunderbird. Walter Jr. says it's okay.
TNN's live coverage of the Budweiser 500 is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Caution has just come out for an incident on the back straightaway. Rick Mast has crashed Jackson Brothers School Oldsmobile. Mast had been running up with a pack of cars a lap down when the incident occurred. Safety crew's there, but he's sitting in the car hoping to get it back around to the garage area.
Mike, he's already out. He's up here with the... There he goes.
He has climbed from the car.
Looks to be in good shape. He's not limping or anything, so that's good.
And Miles the Monster gets another one.
Got caught back there in the bowling alley.
He's had quite an appetite today.
Here he comes off the corner, front end out from under. Here he goes, bam. Right, see all the other marks on the wall? A little bit of flame right here. When he comes off, just like Buddy said earlier, right down, sweeps you down that inside wall.
Neil, that looked like a piece of suspension broke. See the left front house wobbling around?
Yeah.
He went straight up the racetrack, just like something broke on the car.
There's Rick Mast's car, and getting hooked up to the wrecker. Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin getting service. Martin had dropped to fifth. Here's Brett Bodine, who's moved up into second place. Fussing with the hood pins on that car. They did not raise the hood, though. Bill Elliott gets out quickly. Darrell Waltrip.
Feel lonely on several cars, Mike.
Jimmy Hensley's car getting out. And there's Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. Davey Allison, Ted Musgrave having completed pit stops, and Greg Sachs back on the lead lap. Did quite a job to overhaul Earnhardt after Dale jumped out to that big lead on the restart. Sachs has had a very checkered career in Winston Cup racing. He was a standout driver in the modifieds, has shown sparks of brilliance like his Firecracker 400 win, and also had some very lean and very tough times.
One thing you'll never hear anybody say about Greg Sachs, that he won't push the button. He's strong.
Absolutely. Harry Gant has had a myriad of problems. 3 long pit stops under that last caution flag. We will get an update on Harry's misfortunes. He's currently posted, I believe, a lap down. Let's double check his scoring updates here. We're carrying Harry Gant as 1 lap down, but we'll double check that on that last caution, whether or not he may have gotten back onto the lead lap.
Harry's probably just mad because he can't get up there and rake around the wall like he does every time he comes to Dover.
He might be on the tail end of the lead lap. That could be the discrepancy here. And we'll double check it. Finished second here. I think that was in Jack Beebe's car, was it? No, not if it was 1985. No, he had some good. He had a good run here for Jack and nearly won this race, though. Back when Beebe had the 47 car.
NASCAR taking that thing in, boy. You just don't hit the wall easy here. You know, front end got away from him, and look how square it is.
You can't really tell when that's in front of that car. It hit so hard it just pancaked the whole right side, but it did. It looked like something broke on the front. He went straight up.
Yep.
Field circulating under caution here. In turn 2, where Mast hit, there you see the marks. Now, 2 of those marks were already there, and he, talk about a clean kill, he just center punched it right between the 2 marks that had already been up there. If he'd been a target shooter, he couldn't have done any better.
Now, there was 2 cars that spun in practice on the first day we were here, and they hit within a foot apart right in the middle of 1 and 2. So it seems like there's a couple of critical areas to break the car loose, and it's almost you got an arrow pointed where you're going to hit.
The teeth of the monster. Miles the Monster here at Dover Downs. 197 laps are on the board. Mark Martin was asked what it's going to take for him to do well on these super speedways.
You just got to be running good and run all day. We were running good at Charlotte, and we didn't run all day. And, you know, it takes a combination of everything to win races.
You know, you get into fitness, you're likely to get an athlete's foot, and it could get pretty tough. The irritating itch, the painful cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin. Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. And Tenactin's clinically proven. No wonder it's the antifungal most recommended by pharmacists.
Got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get the medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin.
For age-old problems like these, Goodyear introduces a brand new solution like this. Goodyear Wrangler GSA. Goodyear Wrangler GSA has a unique triple tread zone that gives you breakthrough, all-surface, all-season traction. Mile after mile, year after year. So if you own one of these, you need these. Goodyear Wrangler GSA. Then you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Here we go again, guys. Wow, I feel good. Yeah, this guy really gets around. He's got the auto lights. American or import, we're guaranteed. I feel good. Yeah, 2 years, no matter how far he goes. That's why we've been everywhere. Vegas. I feel good. Yeah. Daytona. LA. Wherever we're going. The Super Bowl. Yeah. And we're not even tired.
Pocono Raceway. It's a little bit of Dixie and the beautiful Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. I'm Richard Petty. Why just watch racing on TV when you can be there? Join me and all the stars of Daytona at Pocono twice this year.
June 14th, it's the Champion Sparkplug 500. July 19th, it's the Miller Genuine Draft 500. For the best seats, order now. Call and become eligible to win a trip for two to Charlotte in October. Call 1-800-RACEWAY. Operator standing by. For Pocono vacation information, call 1-800-POCONOS.
All day.
The wipers don't work and the horn don't blow, but there ain't nothing wrong with the radio.
All night.
I got the good times on my mind down at the Hotel Whiskey.
All music.
Loving all night, hanging on tight, no doubt about it, been loving all night, yeah.
CMT, Country Music Television. All right.
Now, baby, you're as pretty as a fresh cut flower.
They dropped the green flag for the restart just 3 laps ago here at Dover. Ernie Irvin at the front of the pack, Hut Strickland, and the Harry Melling car, number 9, with Chad Little aboard at the front 3. Ricky Rudd got another lap back from Irvin on the restart. As they went to turn 1, Ernie just dropped right in behind Ricky, and Ricky took off. So he is now only 1 lap down. He had been 3 down and has now made up 2 of those 3. Harry Gant is posted as 1 lap behind. First car 1 lap down is Gant, and that's 21st place. The Harry Melling car. They've bounced drivers in and out of that car all season. Dave Mater's done a good job with it, but Chad Little, in what is a 1-race deal, took this restart in 3rd place, and he's since been overhauled, but he's giving that car a good run today.
They were up as high as 2nd place a while ago. Like you say, he's running the car hard. He's just having a little bit of trouble with traffic, so dropping back down.
Well, he'll learn in a little while. You can't go up high like that. He went straight to the back the minute he got up high.
Morgan Shepherd and Sterling Marlin have gone past him, so he's now the 5th place car.
If people are wondering about the big shuffle in positioning right here on the pit stops, a lot of the guys just took on fuel. The ones that took on 4 tires are back in the pack. A lot of these guys up front just strictly put gas in, and they got it real quick.
One of those, the Raybesta Chevy of Hut Strickland, Bobby Allison's car, running in 2nd place.
That's a Raybesta's car. They got all over me the other day about not mentioning that and calling it Bobby Allison car. So that's a Raybesta's car coming there.
And now you have. Ernie Irvin, a bright yellow Kodak Chevrolet from the Morgan McClure team out of Abingdon, Virginia. And Strickland, whose best career finish 4th, going for the lead.
That's impressive.
I'd say.
Now the leader's a Raybesta's car.
They made it look kind of easy. Just drove by him up the back straightaway and got on the inside.
Much like Ricky Rudd did down the front straightaway going into turn number 1. But you know, we're not even halfway. It's kind of early in this race for making those daring last lap kind of moves.
Now this thing is too prone to bite you when you get a little bit reckless, so you're going to see them use a lot more caution than you ever have.
Did that opening scare you guys? I know how tough this racetrack is, and I heard it growling. I don't want any more of that.
That was my stomach. Puff of smoke there. Was that Ernie? Not sure. Here are the drivers who were leading this race. Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin. They were leading when the caution came out. They took on tires and went way to the back of the pack. rather Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin, now shown in 12th and 13th positions. Behind them, Alan Kulwicki. Just ahead, Darrell Waltrip, Brett Bodine.
We were talking about track positioning all the time. You're seeing Mark Martin and Earnhardt, who were way up front, and changed for tires, put them way back in the back, and it's going to be hard for them to get back up to the front.
Did you notice wind chill in Mark Martin's car? They only clean in front of the driver. It looks like you couldn't see well, but you don't look out the right-hand side of the wind chill except when you have a car on the outside nose, so it really don't matter as long as you know he's there.
Saw Earnhardt's car dancing around a bit going into the corner.
There we go. That part over there is useless anyhow. He's looking out the left side.
Of course, our camera's mounted on the right side, so maybe they could clean it for us. Here's Earnhardt underneath Waltrip.
They touch a little bit coming up off the corner.
Dead even at the line. And give Earnhardt the spot as he also moves past Jimmy Hensley. And that was for position. Hensley's on the lead lap. He's giving Cale's car a good ride.
I tell you, this last set of stops, when a lot of the guys just put gas in there, put tires, might change some of these other teams' minds. If they see these tires are capable of running long runs like that, they might do it themselves.
Bill Elliott moving up, just took a spot away from Chad Little in the Melling number 9. And there's Dick Trickle in the Stavola brothers car, the Snickers Ford, running right in that pack, and so too is Dave Marcus.
You know, Bill Elliott, he's got to be the most deceptive race car driver out there. You don't ever hear much about him until the last half of the race, and then all of a sudden, there he is.
And he doesn't have a spectacular driving style like an Earnhardt or an Irvin or a Rusty Wallace. But he just, like a Darrell Waltrip, you know, I mean, he's a driver, moves his way up through the field, and he'll be there if the car will get there.
He's got one thing that's in his favor. He's a winning race car driver. That's very important.
You bet. And he's about to put the move on his Junior Johnson stablemate, Sterling Marlin.
A little bit of move under Sterling, moved him out. We're going to watch 4 cars pass him in one corner. Not a whole lot he can do about it.
That answers the question about do teammates work together on the racetrack. Not that time. It's got to be tough to consider who you're running against and what's happening in a deal like that. I guess you don't pay much mind to
he must have
who
a problem,
you're passing, what happened. Yeah, Marlin's in trouble. He's come to the pit lane. Sterling Marlin is on pit road. Here's the race at 11th spot. Neil, you were teamed up with Darrell Waltrip for several years at juniors, but did you race that car just like anybody else's?
Yeah, we always tried to outrun it just as much as we did anyone else, and everybody was saying that was the reason the 2-car team concept didn't work, because we didn't work together. But you know, I always felt like when they set me in that seat, I was supposed to beat the other cars. I wasn't concerned a whole lot about what happened with the other car, and maybe that was the wrong concept, but I always felt like I was supposed to race anybody on the racetrack.
Good battle here. Waltrip, Martin, Allison. Sterling Marlin got tires, went back on the racetrack. 23-second stop for Sterling Marlin. 4 tires. Hut Strickland is your leader. First race that he has led since Darlington in March. Ernie Irvin runs in 2nd. Morgan Shepherd's 3rd. Then Bill Elliott and Dick Trickle.
Now we see why Bobby Allison was out there helping him get the wall fixed. He knew he had a pretty good race car there. He wanted this thing to go back green. He said, my man's ready to race.
There are your leaders. And things have tightened up at the front again.
One thing I noticed about Ernie Irvin, his car wasn't quite as fast the first few laps when they went back to green, but now he seems to be as fast as Hutt or anybody on the racetrack.
Not only that, he's Strickland's fixing to get Rudd back that lap if he's not careful.
Hut Strickland, the race leader. Ernie Irvin in 2nd, and they're about to try to put Ricky Rudd another lap down, who's had a fast car and has led a bit of this race today. 4th place car, Bill Elliott. We asked him why Dover Downs racetrack has been so good to him.
It's been pretty decent for me. You know, we've run good here. We've had some bad problems, but all in all, I really love running this racetrack. It's different for a lot of different reasons, and you know, this will be a little different this go around. You're driving the number 11 car, but you know, it's still the same old Dover.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Behold the passion and pageantry of the noble warrior within. Armed with a snapper recycling mulcher mower with its 2x2 split-level blade. 2 blades for the way up, 2 blades for the way down. Their Ninja 2x2 blade cuts every blade of grass who knows how many times.
It's also handy that I don't have to take the time to beg. Looks like I did.
Snapper. Anything less just won't mulch it. Now pay nothing down and no payments until October.
It's a beautiful morning. My grandkids are in for a big surprise. They have my eyes. I'm their favorite grandparent, you know. Not him.
Service is on the rise at Days Inn. Next visit, don't be surprised if it's noticeable.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Days Inn. Isn't it time you wake up to us?
At Dover Downs, the pit board is up for Bill Elliott in the Budweiser 500. Tim Brewer-led Junior Johnson team is ready for left side tires. Elliott won this race in '85 and '88. Good quick stop, 9.8 seconds. I don't know how much gas they got on that stop. They got left sides.
What a stop. I'm telling you what, now that was something to watch.
Elliott back out, trailing Hut Strickland and Ernie Irvin. These two cars running 1-2. There's Darrell Waltrip moving up, and Davey Allison, Mark Martin right with him. Waltrip, the 8th place car, trying to put the move on Chad Little. Let's have a look at the top 10. Mark Martin dives underneath there. There's your front 5 with Strickland and Irvin running right together, and behind them there's that battle we've been following. Chad Little in 8th place, Waltrip and Mark Martin. There's the tail end of that pack. There's Greg Sachs right back up in it. Rusty Wallace is there. Haven't seen much of Rusty today. He's running in 13th place. He's on the lead lap. Tight, tough pack of cars. And remember, we're still 23 laps from halfway.
Neil, I'm just looking around. The sun's starting to come out. This is going to change the complexion of this racetrack to a great degree now.
That's the first time these guys have seen sunshine since we've been in Dover, Delaware for 3 days. So I don't have any doubt, buddy, if it does stay out long, it'll really slick this racetrack up, and they certainly don't need that.
Well, last year, record high temperatures for the date on the Friday of this weekend. And here, we're barely nudging into the 60s. It's rained up until noon on race day. Hut Strickland, best career finish, 2nd at Michigan International Speedway. Followed his cousin-in-law, Davey Allison, with the checkered flag on that day.
It looks like Hut's car is giving up on him just at least a little bit. Now, I'm not gauging that off of the 4 car behind you. I'm gauging off Rudd in front of him. Rudd is pulled out to about 2 blocks in front of him, along with the 4 car putting a lot of pressure on him. So it looks like he might be going away just a little bit.
Ricky Rudd now just 1 lap down. Ernie Irvin moving up. There's a look at Hut Strickland and Irvin. The mustache is back, by the way. He shaved it off at Talladega, so did most of that team. But he's grown it back. Changed his luck. That's why he took it off. Now it's coming back on. Harry Gant a lap down. There's that lead pack. Let's go to Steve Evans.
Well, Bill Elliott apparently felt he had a left side tire going down. They're pouring water all over the tire, all over the feed, over the valve stem, trying to find where air might be escaping. In fact, one of the first people here was a Goodyear tire engineer. They almost always are in this problem involved tires. They have not yet apparently found a problem with that tire, but they're continuing to look. A couple of things you mentioned, buddy. we have two important changes. The sun is out, my jacket is off, Glenn's jacket is off, the temperature has come up 15 degrees, but the humidity has soared. Humidity obviously will sap the engines of some horsepower, but what does the heat do to the racetrack? Better or worse?
Much worse. I tell you what, they can look at that tire. It's got a rub mark on it where it's been up against another car on the other side there.
Buddy, that also answered one of the questions that came in earlier. How do they air up the inner liner? They noticed that tire, that rim had two sets of bleeders on two sets of air intakes. There's two needles on there, one for the inner tire, one for the outer tire.
So just like you fill up your passenger car tire, except you have to do it twice.
Yep.
Two fill valves.
It don't matter a bit now. They got it off there. That's the important part.
Up front, Hut Strickland, the Rebesta Chevrolet. That's Bobby Allison's car, and Allison's last win as a car owner when he was driving for himself at Richmond, Virginia, February 1974. 234 laps complete here at Dover Downs, coming up on halfway with Hut Strickland leading Ernie Irvan, Morgan Shepherd, Dick Trickle, and Brett Bodine.
It's country music's biggest event. Tanya Tucker and Alan Jackson host the prestigious TNN Music City News Country Awards. Live Monday, June 8th at 9 Eastern on TNN.
This is America. A grand land of wonderful places. And some wonderful folks. It's freedom to grow. And to visit anywhere we wish. From the heartland to the great shores. And all this year, TNN, the Nashville Network, will explore America. Its cities, its neighborhoods, its parks, and its people. It's a memorable journey. All this year, when TNN explores America.
Hut Strickland leading the Budweiser 500, coming up on halfway. Ernie Irvan has had him right in his tire tracks ever since they dropped the green flag at lap 199 after Rick Mass crashed into the backstretch wall off of turn 2. There's your interval back to Morgan Shepherd, bottom of the frame. He's the third place car. Next up, Dick Trickle. There's Trickle going out of the bottom of the frame. And Brett Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, Michael Waltrip, Chad Little, and Darrell Waltrip. That's that battle we've been watching. Chad Little at the front of that pack is the 8th place car.
Look at the big piece of paper up in front of the 9 car there.
That's not good. That's right in front of the air intake on that radiator. That's
huge,
not good.
Huge piece of paper. Must come off one of them Richard Petty hot dogs they introduced yesterday here.
Signature edition, I guess.
About the only thing I haven't seen is a roll of Richard Petty paper to celebrate the Fan Appreciation Tour.
Give them time. It's on its way.
That's right, probably.
I'll say one thing about Davy's crew. They clean his windshield a lot better than the rest of me.
Watching from Davey Allison's car. Trailing Mark Martin, carrying our other in-car camera today, and Jeff Bodine right behind. 3 Fords right in a row, running 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Look at poor old Mark Martin there. He needs a set of those little bumper things on the fender where you tell when you get close to people.
Curb feelers?
Yeah, curb feelers. That'd come in handy.
Call J.C. Whitney. We'll order some. Waltrip and Martin. This is 9th on back. Davey Allison. Rusty Wallace right in the picture, and Greg Sachs coming back up after getting back on the lead lap. He's the 14th place car. 18 cars are on the lead lap. Back at the front of the pack. I think we're seeing a little different Ernie Irvan here than the guy who used to try to get out front and lead every single lap if he could. He's just kind of kept that margin very constant between himself and the lead car of Hut Strickland. Let's get out of that pit and Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Bobby Hunt's doing a great job out there. Everything all smiles down here. No problems right now, huh?
Well, the Rebestas, Montague Tic Tac, Chevy is
running pretty good right now. We got the wall fixed over here. Now the car's doing okay, too.
You did a great job on the wall out there. We saw you out there directing traffic.
I got a chance to work with Gary Nelson, one of my all-time favorites.
You got to be pleased about this car today. You guys got a real good chance, real good shot at picking up that first win.
Oh, I really feel like the guys have worked hard and it could happen.
Okay, they're all smiles right now, and he's setting the pace.
And doing a great job with it. Hot Strickland. The new Alabama gang, huh, Neil?
I tell you what, with Davey and Hutt, they're kind of taking charge of everything. I'd like to see Hutton win a race. I'm telling you, they've been so close. And I'd have to tell the truth. I'd sure like to see Bobby Allison's team win a race, and I'd like to see Hutt be the guy to do it. Bobby's worked hard behind the scenes for that deal.
Let's go back and pick up the race for 8th. For Chad Little, driving the Harry Melling car today. And Bill Schmidt, the Redding, California former Winston West champ, will steer it next week at Sears Point. Here, right in the middle of that pack, Mark Martin and Davey Allison. Here's Martin diving low on Darrell Waltrip. Nothing there. Darrell fills up a lot of track. Brett Bodine, a lot of smoke from his car going down toward turn 1. Looks like his car owner, Kenny Bernstein's rail, as it gets down to the end of the shutoff area.
He did a great job of getting that car out of the racing groove.
Coasting along at the bottom of the racetrack on the backstretch. Don't know if he'll make it all the way around.
No, but look at that. He's getting all the way down out of the racing groove. A lot of guys that blow a motor, they'll coast around up there, but he's got it down completely out of the groove, and it shouldn't be a problem for the rest of the drivers.
3 laps from halfway, and poles hitter Brett Bodine sees his chances of winning go up in smoke.
He was running in about 4th place before that happened, and really costing him now.
Now Ernie Irvin puts on the pressure as they come up to lap Richard Petty.
It looks like Harry Gant wants that lap back too. He's starting to, if this gets hotter and a little more aggravating to the drivers, Harry Gant will start coming on.
Halfway money, $10,000 up for grabs next time by. You send in that postcard to the Gillette folks, they could be calling you. Bodine has gone to the garage area. He is out of the race. Lap 250, $10,000 coming up. Out of turn 4, ring the cash register for Hut Strickland. So Hut Strickland is the name to know. He picks up $10,000 for leading the halfway lap. Stand by your phone. If you send in a postcard to enter the Gillette Halfway Challenge, you could be called, and if you know that Hut Strickland led the halfway lap, you could be driving a new Chevy Lumina next week. Steve Evans.
Sonny Richardson, crew chief for Brett Bodine. Did you have any idea that engine was going away? Was it low on oil pressure, overheating, any warning whatsoever?
No, Brent told us as soon as the motor let go that the gauges all looked fine, all the temperatures were good. It's just a heart broke of some sort.
Sorry to see you out after winning the pole. You did a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, there. Just past halfway. And look who they're coming up to put a lap on. Bill Elliott.
Yeah, he lost some time a while ago when he pitted for those left side tires, even though it was just a 9-second stop. And they haven't corrected the problem because he's fixing to go a lap down on the green.
He is 1 lap down as a result of the pit stop and would go 2 laps down. There's an ominous fact for the Bobby Allison team. In 10 races, the driver leading at halfway has only won 2 of them this season.
You see Harry Gant creeping into the picture there? He wants that lap back really bad. I wouldn't be surprised. He might even do it on the outside. Look at this.
But he's up there in his old favorite place. If he just can make the curve, he'll be all right.
He's got him right where he wants him.
He wouldn't, I tell you what, he won't hesitate to stick it out there on the outside. Look where he's at. He said, well, guys, if you're going to ride around the inside, I'll try this outside for a while. And Gant has always been so successful at this racetrack or any track running high. He's going to give it a try. Okay, here's Ernie Irvin moving up on the outside. He sees Harry trying it. He said, well, maybe I better try him out there.
Also, they're coming up on Ted Musgrave. And Ted's had a strong ride today here. This pack here as they try to get Elliott down 2. Going to sneak underneath Bill. Here comes Harry looking on the high side.
Whoops.
And they're coming up on Greg Sachs along with Musgrave and Ricky Rudd. But Strickland's going to slice on by. Sachs back a lap down.
Yep, Mike, you were just right. We just saw Sachs get that lap back a while ago, and he's off the pace a little bit, and he's lost the lap back again.
Well, I tell you, that sunshine coming out has a lot to do with that. But Earnhardt was one of the fastest cars, and he's dropped back quite a ways.
Strickland coming up now on Ted Musgrave, and here's a guy that deserves a call. He's had a good, strong race. He's come off that ASA circuit, and if there's a driver in that garage that understands chassis and steering and how these things work, it's Ted Musgrave.
And they've made the complete cycle. They've had Chevrolet, Ford, Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac. They've ran every type car.
So with 256 laps complete, we'll take this break and ask Harry Gadd, wouldn't he like to be remembered as Mr. May in June this year?
Yeah, but it may take to September for us to get going good. We're making a little headway with the new Chevrolet head, so that's one plus for us. You know, we sure hope we can win a race before September. And here at Dover seems to be a good place for. We're going to put it all in so we can't do it here.
The other day I get in my car, it won't start. No small problem, right? Well, I figure it's the battery, so I go down to the AutoZone and I tell them what I need. The guy says to me, let's check your old one first. It might not be the problem. Turns out he was right. All I needed was a new battery cable. Talk about saving money. Now you tell me, would another parts store done that? They made sure I got exactly what I needed. Now I'll remember that. Believe me, I will.
Presenting the Yamaha Blast Into Summer Sale. For a limited time, you'll get rock-bottom prices and red-hot deals on Yamaha VXR and Superjet. Low financing for qualified buyers. No money down or no payment for 90 days. The Yamaha VXR and Superjet have the greatest technology to ever hit the water. So call now for the Yamaha dealer nearest you, because the best deals of the season are for a limited time only.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint.
No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes.
The other brand's still tacky. Whoa! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
The NASCAR racing circuit. It's no place for the timid. That's why Craftsman tools were chosen, the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman, made in America, guaranteed forever.
It is from Kodak. It delivers the highest resolution. Microfine grain. Superior image structure. For ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Ektar Film by Kodak. The genius is in the details. Ektar Film now comes in a new cartonless package in 25, 100, and 1,000 speeds.
The Nashville Network's live coverage of the Budweiser 500 is being brought to you by Ektar Film from Kodak. For advanced photographers, the genius is in the details. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, now we know why Kyle Petty was so upset earlier on after he crashed when the record driver towed his car way out there in Never Never Land. These guys are actually trying to put this car back together to get him back out there to pick up those valuable Winston Cup points. Now, I've seen a lot of wrecked race cars. You may not be able to see it right here. The left front frame rail of this car has been pushed over in excess of 12 inches, and they have heated it, beat it, banged on it. They're working on it. They're trying to get it back together. Let's walk around the side of the car here and take a look at the damage that these guys are trying to fix.
Glenn, the leader is on
we'll
pit
do that
road.
later. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Hot Strickland is on pit road for right side tires. Pit stop at lap 264. That will take him from the lead. Second place car now in the back straightaway. And Strickland will go a lap down as he gets 4 tires.
Good 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel.
And he's away. 22.6 is not bad for 4 tires and a full load, but it will put him at least a lap back to this man, Ernie Irvin. Irvin coming off the 4th corner. Mark Martin is on pit road now. One of the top 10 cars and one of the drivers who has led this race. Will they clean the windshield? I'm sure that's not their top priority.
I don't know who he's following, but they're losing a lot of oil.
There there's a picture of concentration.
Mike, that's exactly what it takes. You hit the nail. And when you come in, you just got, there we see him going down a couple rounds. He must have been too tight. They took a little bit of bite. They went down that right rear, loosened the car up just a little bit. Get 4 tires on his car also.
Earnhardt's crew looking on. 21 seconds.
Well, they're going to let him look out of half of it anyhow.
Go ahead and pay that guy to clean the other side while we're at it.
Or give him a longer pole. Terry Labonte, who was running second back at the restart, now finds himself being lapped by Ernie Irvin. And there's Harry Gant. Going to come up and make the move on Labonte for position.
Harry would have probably had his lap back, but he tried that high move a while ago, and then Neil pointed out to me, he nearly crashed. I'm going to tell you, that car got all over the racetrack.
And Irvin will pit. Scheduled stop, lap 269.
Now, this is a time when half the teams are hoping for a caution, the other half are hoping they don't see it. The guys that haven't come in, they said, man, if I get a caution, we've got some of these leaders down. The other guys that pitted, they said, boy, let's go green about 15 more laps to equalize this thing. It's a gamble to pit this early.
Puts Morgan Shepherd in the lead. Tony Glover's team goes to work. And there's your new leader, Morgan Shepherd. And Dick Trickle has moved up to second spot.
He's done a great job in this Snickers car since he took over for it. I tell you, he's really run well.
Look at Tony Glover cranking on the left rear of that car. I don't know how many rounds he told him. Tony just cranked till he got tired of turning the rich, it looked like.
21.5 seconds. And Irvin's back in the fray at lap 270. Morgan Shepherd is the new leader. Dick Trickle in second place. Glenn Jarrett.
Brett Bodine, a disappointing finish to a day that started that looked pretty good out there. What happened?
Well, evidently, Glenn, something broke in the motor, a connecting rod or something. Just all of a sudden coming off the fourth turn, something snapped, you know, maybe a crankshaft. You never know. But I'll tell you what, we kept adjusting on that old girl, and she was coming up through there. We got hung in the back there on that pit exchange. Some guys didn't pit, some did. We elected to pit. We were the only one coming forward. I looked in the mirror, and there was nobody behind me, and we were just going to the front. I really felt like we had a strong race car at that point. We'll never know what we would have had at the end of the day. My car was just a little tight. Sun's starting to come out. You know it would have come to me.
Well, better luck next time.
Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, and Michael Waltrip are on pit road. All for 4 tires. Neil, if the first couple of cars take 4, you almost have to.
Yet, you know, you can kind of, if you need to get out. The problem what they get into here, Mike, is they got to put fuel in anyway. They can put, time they put 2 tanks of fuel in this thing, they go ahead and get the right side. Watch the guy with the gas can. He's putting 1 can in there. The other guy just hooking up the second can. The car's already down. So you're going to lose 3 or 4 more seconds. You might as well go ahead and put those left sides on the thing and have it. It's not that much of a gain. See him still plugging in, just topping it on off while the car's jacked up on that side. So you might as well get the tires.
20.2 seconds for Earnhardt. Alan Kulwicki making his stop at lap 274. 17 cars were on the lead lap. Check that. 9 cars now after these pit stops. Now here's Harry Gant, who is now back on the lead lap as long as we stay under green here right now. He had gotten a lap down early after 3 pit stops, 1 long one under a caution flag at about the 121 lap mark. Steve?
Well, imagine where Harry might be right now had it not been for a problem with their first pit stop. Andy Petrie, what was the problem with that first stop that got you lap down?
Well, what happened was we were making just a routine stop. Pulled out of the pit box here. It's kind of narrow, and I think he ran into the 28 car. Bent the toe in about an inch. You know, we didn't have any choice. We didn't fix it. You know, he ended up costing us a lap, but they can go good. Maybe we'll get it back.
It appears to be handling well now. Harry's on the move.
It seems to be okay. You know, we got the right lane. It seems to be handling fine.
Excellent.
Dick Trickle has made a stop. He had been the second place car. Morgan Shepherd remains in the lead. Trickle gets 4 tires in 24.3 seconds. 277 laps complete. The man they're chasing right now is Morgan Shepherd. TNN's live coverage of the Budweiser 500 from Dover Downs continues after this.
And isn't it true that this auto part did, in fact, come from the defendant's car?
Objection. Prosecution is leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
This part most definitely came from that car.
And how can you be sure?
I work for Napa Auto Parts. It's my job to be sure.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Napa people are parts experts, so they can answer any question, whatever the case may be.
It's in his head, his heart, in every muscle. The energy to go further. Texaco System 3 gasolines put this kind of energy to work for you on the road. System 3 reduces deposits and cleans your engine in all octane grades to help put the heart and muscle back into older cars and keep new cars running like him.
When the folks at Royal Oak asked me to help pick the prizes for the Great Outdoor Sweepstakes, I said, sure. I mean, I do know something about the outdoors, so I picked this great 4x4 Chevy Blazer and this Ranger bass boat with Evinrude motor, Zebco rods and reels, Toro electric start lawnmowers, hammocks and coolers, over 900 prizes in all. Look for details wherever you see the Royal Oak display. You'll love the prizes. And I know you're just gonna love Royal Oak.
Jim Ward has found a fountain of youth, and he keeps it in his garage. It's Armor All Protectant. It prevents his tires from fading and aging. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All.
Good news for Harry Gant, bad news for Mark Martin. Look at the right side of Martin's car after a crash in the back straightaway that we'll have a look at in a moment. On the ensuing caution flag, Harry Gant made up his lap and is on the lap with the leaders, who now include only the cars who had not pitted under green. The leader, Morgan Shepherd, who is now in the Wood Brothers pit, Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Hensley in the Cale Yarborough car, and Terry Labonte. Dave Marcus appeared to collide with Mark Martin. There's the damage to the Max race car Chevrolet of Marcus. And Bill Elliott is coming to the start-finish line and stopping out on the racetrack. Don't know if he's being held. Was ordered there to hold for the field by radio.
Must have passed here in a minute. Must have passed the caution car coming around.
Jimmy Hensley is on pit road. So is Darrell Waltrip, Harry Gant, Terry Labonte. Those cars were all on the lead lap. The first lap of caution that the pits are open is open to only cars on the lead lap. Then everybody else comes in next time by. And Mark Martin doesn't want to get out of that car. He wants to get it back to the pits.
There he is grinding on the starter. Looks like, buddy. Looks like he's got his hand up on the starter. Yeah, he's trying to crank it. The thing won't crank it. He's wanting somebody to push it right now, and he can't get anybody over to push it.
Yeah, the ambulance crew wants to take him in. He wants to go back to the pits in the car. Let's have a look here. Turn 2, once again, Calamity Corner.
Marcus loses control right there, hits the outside wall
In
the
same
mark.
place. Yep. And look at Earnhardt on the inside.
I tell you, that guy's got a talent of missing stuff like that. You see it every race.
Here there, a long shot. There was Marcus losing control, getting the outside wall, taking the 6 car with him as he comes back across the track.
Now these are in slow motion.
Oh.
Let's have a look at it from this next replay in real time. What did Mark Martin see?
Here he's coming up off the corner, buddy. Looks like Marcus. You see Marcus break loose. He almost clears him, and he gets that lick. But you listen to it. Oh, man. Wham, hit that inside wall. Good lick.
Now, there's why you don't want an airbag in that race car. Because after Mark Martin got hit and came in and banged it once, he was steering that thing all the way down to turn 3. And if he'd had an airbag in his face, might not have been able to do that.
I tell you, he's really upset around there. He's wanting somebody to come push his car in. He thinks that thing, you know, even though it's torn all to pieces, he wants to get it back in and get it repaired so he can get some points.
I see a truck headed towards his way right now.
I don't think they got there as fast as he wanted them.
No. Well, he's coming in now. They're pushing him. He's got his earplugs out.
Got the helmet off. Let's see this again in real time as we're now watching Martin live as he comes to pit road. Or rather,
he's got it running, I believe.
Right here. Watch the tail end of this car just take off right here. Boom. Neil, the only thing missing there is the smell of tire smoke in it.
Yeah, that's pretty well the way it is right there.
And the G-force. Folks, if you're watching at home, just have somebody stand there if we show this again. And about the time he gets to that wall, have somebody walk you up the side of the head real hard. And you'll get an idea what happened to Mark there.
He got it recranked himself.
Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Martin has brought the Valvoline Ford in for service on it. There is no damage to the left side of the car. A little bent place on the left front fender, a lot of grass and mud on the car. When Mark came in, he had his helmet completely off. I've never seen that before, so obviously he was trying to tell somebody something, and he wanted to make sure that they understood exactly what he said.
Glenn, one thing there, he took such a lick, you saw his helmet fly over. I've done that before and had my earplugs. You got the helmet fly over and snatch your earplugs out. We saw him coming down pit road, and it looked like he was working with his headset to get it positioned back in before he put his helmet back on.
Steve Evans?
Well, after all the problems Dave Marcus has had today, if I was him, I'm not sure I'd want to go back out onto the Monster Mile. That isn't the case here. The crew has gone to work trying to strip away any of the body material that might rub on a tire. They don't care at this point about aerodynamics. In fact, he has stayed in the car with the engine running, trying to whack the throttle a little bit and keep it fairly cool. They are going to try to go back out there. We'll have to wait and see if the car will handle it all.
Well, that race car to his looks like one that got clothespin to the bicycle spokes and run up for a long, long time. Tough break for Marcus. He's had a couple of them today. 284 laps are on the board. Here's Mark Martin coming back in, but he's going to stay in this race. Morgan Shepherd, the leader. We'll be right back.
When Darrell Waltrip needs a part, he needs the right part, and he needs it fast.
And when you need parts, see the parts team at Western Auto. We've got top name brands and thousands of parts in stock. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
And we've got the right price, backed by our low price guarantee, right?
Right, DW. And while you're at Western Auto, pick up Valvoline motor oil at a low Western Auto price. People who know, use Valvoline.
Western Auto, the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
So our lab guys wanted me to explain the advanced formula in new Rain Dance car polish. I told them, hey, forget that. Just show how easy it is to wipe off. They said no. They'd rather show how new Rain Dance lasts longer than those once-a-year polishes. Something about this special ingredient makes water beat up better longer. I said, nah, show the car. They said no, maybe the bottle. I said car. They said bottle. New Rain Dance. Hey, you can't argue with science. You'll find advanced formula Rain Dance at these fine stores.
Here we go again, guys. Wow, I feel good. Yeah, this guy really gets around. He's got the auto lights. American or import, we're guaranteed. I feel good. Yeah, 2 years, no matter how far he goes. That's why we've been everywhere. Vegas. I feel good. Yeah. Daytona. LA. Wherever we're going. The Superman, yeah. And we're not even tired.
TNN's live coverage of the Budweiser 500 is brought to you by Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. They've just taken the green flag for the restart. Morgan Shepherd, the race leader. The cars at the front of the pack have gotten their lap back, as Davey Allison is trying to do right now. All of the cars that made pit stops under the green, there's Morgan real loose. All the cars that made pit stops under green went a lap down when the caution flag came out, because Shepherd had not pitted, neither had Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Hensley, or Terry Labonte. Shepherd almost loses the car.
Boy, he's really got him bottled up. He's having some kind of a problem. Really got traffic stacked up behind him.
Darrell Waltrip now on the point. Here comes Labonte for second place against Shepard. A lot of those lap cars in the middle. I say lap cars, 30 laps ago, they were among the cars leading this race. But now a lap down. Labonte scoots on past. That's second place. Shepard now third. Jimmy Hensley is fourth, and Harry Gant is fifth.
A little smoke fly there, looked like a little contact, innocent contact.
Remember, Gant was running just ahead of the race leaders and made up a lap. Dave Marcus is back on track with what's left of that car. Waltrip the leader. Darrell Waltrip 23rd in the Winston Cup points. 537 out of first. Has won twice here in the fall, never in the spring, in 37 starts. Back at 8th place, Dick Trickle and Dale Earnhardt. They are one lap down.
Actually, the lead cars on this lap, I mean, they're the ones out in front of the leaders. This group right here is hoping for a caution. And 4-car Bourbon, too, is on the tail end of the lead lap. These 3 cars here are in position to get a lap back if they have a caution flag.
The complexion of this race turned upside down by the Dave Marcus Mark Martin crash at lap 281.
They just black flagged the 71 car. Marcus and probably don't have all the pieces tied down like NASCAR wants, and they're bringing it back in.
Saw Earnhardt's win total 53 in response to an 800-line question. There's Trickle right on Earnhardt. It doesn't get any closer than that.
About as close as you can do it.
Jeff Bodine on pit road. 17th place. He's 2 laps down. Bud Moore's crew goes to work. Marcus has gone to the garage. Coming up on 300 laps complete here at Dover, Delaware. Darrell Waltrip, the race leader. Sterling Marlin gets a lap back. Morgan Shepherd in second. Terry Labonte in third. Jimmy Hensley and Harry Gant. Then on the tail end of the lead lap comes Ernie Irvan. We'll be right back to Dover Down.
Monday on Celebrities Off Stage, we'll go home with Barbara Mandrell and take you inside the largest log home in the country. Then on Tuesday, Barbara becomes a bride again, and our cameras are there.
Celebrities Off Stage, Monday and Tuesday on TNN.
This is America. A grand land of wonderful places. And some wonderful folks. It's freedom to grow. And to visit anywhere we wish. From the heartland to the great shores. And all this year, TNN, the Nashville network, will explore America. Its cities, its neighborhoods, its parks, and its people. It's a memorable journey. All this year, when TNN explores America.
In Morgan Shepherd's pit, the Wood brothers are trying to figure this one out, and so are we, after a caution flag has really split the field. Coming up on 300 laps here, 298 on the board. Let's have a look at the top 10. On the lead lap are your first 6 cars. There's the front 5. These are cars that did not pit before that last caution flag came out, including Harry Gant, who got his lap back. So they are on the lead lap. Now also on the lead lap is 6th place Ernie Irvan. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. Strickland, Trickle, Earnhardt, and Kulwicki all made pit stops running behind the race leader. Went a lap down in the pits, lost another lap getting up to speed, so we're 2 down. And now they have moved ahead of the race leader, so they are but 1 lap down. Add to that list Rusty Wallace, Davey Allison, and Sterling Marlin, who are 1 lap down. 2 laps back, Bill Elliott, Ted Musgrave, Kenny Schrader, Mike Waltrip, Ricky Rudd. And the rest of the field well back of that.
And here's a battle for the lead. Morgan Shepherd is pulled back in from Darrell Waltrip for first place. Morgan tried it on the outside early, and like you talked, Mike, his car got real squirrely, but he's staying down low and gaining on Darrell again now.
What it looked like on that restart, he had a little bit of push in the car, and then it made it loose coming up off the corner because the push was bad. He's going to try it outside now. This ought to be cute.
There's Morgan trying it on the outside, Darrell for the lead.
And Sterling Marlin just ahead, along with Jeff Bodine. Shepherd, the leader by a car length. Morgan Shepherd back up front. You see Bill Elliott in the picture. He is 2 laps down. It's one of those strange turns of event that, as you said earlier, half the field was looking for a caution and half the field was hoping they wouldn't get one once green flag pit stops began.
Yeah, everybody that was leading a while ago, you know, got really put back some, and the guys were fortunate enough to stay out to put them right in contention to win the race.
Morgan Shepherd's really hooked up. He's passing cars on the outside, inside. He's really got the thing hooked up right now.
His team, the Wood Brothers, are the winningest car owners here. 7 victories for Wood Brothers cars. Bonnet had one of those.
They won a couple of times with it. I tell you, their car always flew at this place.
Petty Enterprises 6 wins, Junior Johnson 5 on the all-time list. Here's Terry Labonte up and under Sterling Marlin. That's not for position, but Waltrip, Labonte, and Gant are on the lead lap and are battling for second.
Gant's in position there with Labonte. He's been able to catch everybody, but he hasn't been able to get around them. Not being able to utilize that outside lane has really hurt Harry all day long, because that's where it's always been his key at this place, and he can run them down. Watch here, he just flies up behind him, but he can't seem to get by him on the outside where he's normally been able to do that.
There's that lead pack. Remember, they're trailing Morgan Shepherd. 306 laps down.
I'll tell you one thing that might enter into Harry's deal here, buddy. You know yourself, when you run the top of this racetrack or the bottom and you set up for it, sometimes it takes a different gear ratio. You know, It's a lot further around the top of that racetrack, and Harry is always pulled taller gears than anybody else, higher ratios, and that high gear might hurt him off the corners a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably 10 points different from the guys that are running right around on the bottom there, and it has hurt him some.
We've talked about the groove here at Dover Downs, and had a couple of calls on our 800 number about that, about, just where is the groove? Do they mark it by cones, or do they, is it a line you see on the racetrack? I guess sometimes you can. You get enough rubber worn down there, but when you say the groove, just what do you mean?
The groove is the seat of your pants where the race car feels best and where the car will stick the best.
The best way I can show you is when they go through there, see the dark part of that racetrack? That's what we call the groove. When they start in this corner, you'll be able to see a darker area than the rest of the racetrack, and that's the groove right around the bottom there.
10th place battle.
Schrader just popped the wall, I think, on the back straightaway.
And he's going very slow down the backstretch.
Well, he didn't need that with his neck problem he has popping that wall.
Last year's winner, Kenny Schrader. Tire rub on the right rear.
He squared it up pretty good. Looked like he squared the whole right side of it up pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. He'll come to pit road. Ken Schrader was running 16th, 2 laps back. Won this race last year, one of his 4 Winston Cup victories.
Yeah, he's got it with both ends of the car. The right front's knocked in, the front panel's knocked off, and the rear, so he squared it pretty good.
If you're going to hit it, though, hit it flat like that. That's much better than one end hitting the other.
Right in the middle of that 25, that long slash is the roll bar. It's squared all the way up against the roll cage inside. So the first thing they do is just do your 4-tire change. Get those off, and they're going to have to evaluate how bad that car is on the right side to see if it's usable.
You see him pulling on that quarter panel. Let's give a little more tire pressure. It's right against the tire.
We'll have a look at the incident in a moment. Here's what happened to Ken Schrader.
He's up there in no man's land.
Okay, what he done there, he felt that happening. He drove that car up there rather than for it to turn into the wall. You see how easy he went up and squared that baby up.
See that black mark back there, buddy? That's the one we're talking about. It seems like there's a place, if you're going to go, you hit here.
Caution is out. At lap 311, we have caution on the racetrack. And no apparent incident. Debris on the track, we're told. brings out the caution.
Is that Pierre Debris?
I think it's Jacques Debris, the
Jacques Debris,
famous
that's
French driver, teammate to Neil Bonet.
Now, that got a lot of the guys back on the lap. You know, we had a good group of cars that were put down by that earlier caution and were out in front of Morgan Shepherd, who was leading the race. So that puts several of these guys back in there in contention again. The 4 car, the 8 car, the 3 car was up there, the 7. Several of them are going to get a lap back on this.
Now, the 4 car is on the lead lap. He'll be okay. We'll double check and we'll try to sort out this scoring here in a moment. We're under caution. There's a bit of debris on the racetrack where Ken Schrader slapped the wall. See the green paint up there? We'll be right back to Dover Downs after this.
Pennzoil, at home in America. IndyCar racing, off-road racing, drag racing, and NASCAR USA. Pennzoil's got what it takes to win. We've got the car, we've got the team, we've got the driver.
And if they got the oil, Pennzoil.
Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
John, how you doing? You know AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
Quote, a mid-size Dodge Dakota with a new optional 230 horsepower Magnum V8 outpowers, outhauls, and just plain outpulls even full-size 5-liter V8s from Ford and Chevy. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere. Get $750 cash back on Dakota during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
These are test tracks for Craftsman tools. It's where we prove Craftsman can take the torture even guys like you dish out. 1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
We're back to Dover Downs where Ken Schrader's car is being worked on behind pit wall. There was a large piece of sheet metal from his car that came loose on the back straightaway. That's why the caution flag for debris. There it is. Considerably larger than the one we showed you earlier.
Neil said that's real debris.
That's right.
That's the smaller brother of Jacques Debris.
Okay. 315 laps complete. Let's go to pit road.
The Schrader car is in. There happened to be a break in the wall right by their pit, so they're parked diagonally in here. And they once again have proven that the official tool and most popular tool in NASCAR is a hammer. In fact, I counted in the pits, and they have 14 different hammers of every size, shape, configuration, and texture. They're going to try to get this thing back out with pry bars. It doesn't appear to be all that bad. I'm no suspension expert, but everything appears to be in pretty good shape. If they get the front end aligned, that's obviously knocked out, and get all the sheet metal away from the tires, they may get back out there and, who knows, get some points.
No good.
Well, thanks, Steve. Let's give you a look at the Napa Field standing update. Brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. And as you look where your favorite driver's running, we've had Greg Field and our historian here very busy answering questions off the 800 line. Comparison between Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt's wins. Well, we told you Earnhardt has 53 wins. This is for Gene in Texas. And it took him 400 starts from 1976 to today to get 53 wins. Richard Petty got his first 53 wins in 333 starts over a 9 or 10-year period from 1958 to 67. Don from Indiana, why don't they use automatic transmissions in these cars? I wondered if it had ever been tried. Petty Enterprises put an automatic in a car at Riverside in 1963 for the road course. Less than 10 laps. Louis.
The torque converter, there's so much heat in the torque converter, it's virtually impossible to do it. And it says manual, well, we don't need any more fluid on the racetrack, I promise you. So they go with manual transmissions.
So no more automatics. And Jack from Vermont wanted to know, how many race miles has Richard Petty run in his career? Greg is still adding, and it may be Tuesday before we get them all down, but he says enough to go from Dover to the moon, which is about 240,000 miles, depending on the time of the month.
That's the only place Richard hasn't been, to the moon so far.
The only place he hasn't won, just about, is the moon. Sam from Iowa, have you heard the rumors about, oh, here we go, crank the rumor mill.
Yeah.
You heard the rumors about Dale Earnhardt driving for Richard Petty next year?
That's not going to happen. I can guarantee you, he's happy right where he's at.
I heard that rumor, but I heard a hearty laugh when I heard it from all corners. 317 laps complete. Green next time by.
You know, everybody keeps asking who's going to drive Richard Petty's car. And Richard was standing the other day and he said, you know, I tell you who I want to drive my car. Somebody that really make me look bad. He said, I need somebody to win a bunch of races in my car. And he said, I'd love for them to make me look bad. But they're going to have to, I don't think anybody would ever make Richard Petty look bad.
No, couldn't. On the lead lap, Darrell Waltrip, Harry Gant, Morgan Shepherd, Terry Labonte, Jimmy Hensley, and Ernie Irvin. 1 lap down, Hut Strickland, Dale Earnhardt, Dick Trickle, Alan Kulwicki, Rusty Wallace, and Davey Allison. 2 laps down, Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott, Mike Waltrip, Ricky Rudd, and Ted Musgrave. 3 laps back, Jeff Bodine. 4 laps down, Greg Sachs, Bobby Hamilton, and Chad Little. 5 laps down, Richard Petty. That takes you back through 23rd position. Green flag for the restart. Darrell Waltrip brings him down, and here's Hut Strickland trying to get back on the lead lap and challenge once again. He does it.
The fastest car on the racetrack a while ago, and that set of pit stops really put him back, and he's back in the lead lap now if he can get that catch a caution.
6 laps shy of the record for most caution laps. Happened here in 1975. There's High Groove Harry going to work.
Yeah, he's kind of in the bind there, though.
He's determined, isn't he?
It's a long commute to work today in that High Groove. Morgan Shepherd flashes past in the high lane. Waltrip the leader. Sterling Marlin is 2 laps back. Be right with him. And then Bill Elliott.
Neil Harry won't give up.
No.
He's got about 10 cars passing him right now. He's going to stay up there and make it work sooner or later.
He's done that here before. He spent about 20 laps up there, and finally when that group would come in for him, he'd come right back to him.
I think he's going to need a snow shovel or plow, something to cut it in today.
Battle here for 13th position. The Johnson boys. The junior Johnson boys.
There's Darrell leading the race. And at the same time we're watching Darrell here, Hut Strickland has pulled out a good little bit.
Well, if you're driving around Beckley, West Virginia, wave to Rita Elkins as she drives around in her brand new Chevy Lumina from the folks at Gillette. She knew that Hut Strickland led the halfway lap and earns the keys to a new Chevy Lumina. Now, the next contest will be next week at Sears Point. You must enter by mail. Send in your postcard at Gillette Halfway Challenge, Box 1868, South Hackensack, New Jersey 07606. You must be 18 or over to enter it, and they must receive your entry by Thursday to be eligible for next Sunday's contest. Congratulations both to Hut, who picked up $10,000, and to Rita, who picked up a Lumina. Kenny Schrader back in the race.
Well, we saw him when he was working on really cranking on the toe end. Schrader, they got him running again.
Now Bill Elliott pulls up on race leader Darrell Waltrip. Bill is 2 laps down in 13th place.
And we're back to the old racetrack that we had at the start of the race. It's completely overcast. All the adjusting they've been doing on the chassis, they're going to have to start working again because it's completely overcast and getting dark again.
Look at this pack. Terry Labonte and Ernie Irvin, that's for position. Earnhardt and Kulwicki are racing each other for 8th and 9th, 1 lap down. Dale Jarrett has come to pit road. Behind them, Ricky Rudd. And Ricky is 2 laps back.
Dale Jarrett had trouble earlier. He's right around the inside the racetrack now.
Labonte and Irvin running for 3rd place behind Darrell Waltrip and Harry Gant. And Irvin makes the pass. His best finish in this race, 4th last year. 8 starts at this track. And Morgan Shepherd, who had been leading, still on the lead lap, but he's now dropped to 5th place. Steve Evans.
Guys, you were talking about the changing track conditions. It's cooling off. There is a cloud cover. Maybe the Wood brothers are kind of anticipating that. They pitted while we were at break, back during our last break, and they took some wedge out of the car, exactly 2 rounds, loosening the car up. What do you think, buddy, Neil?
I tell you, that's where you have to go when it cools off like that, buddy. The only thing to do is take a little bit of bite out of it, and it might come to him in a little bit.
Well, it was pushing a little bit with the sun out, and I know he took a couple of rounds out. That'll make it